Hey everybody, this is Jack Hammer of the Santa Rosa Press Democrat. Hope you're all doing well on this Sunday afternoon, depending on where you are around the world watching this. It's going to be time to get ready for some 49ers football, as tonight they're going to be taking on the Denver Broncos from Empower Field at Mile High in Denver. I'm here in the tool shed getting ready for this big game tonight. Wanted to bring you some things to look for, some keys to watch for tonight as the 49ers get ready for this game. It's a big game for the 49ers. I'm getting ready for this today, thinking about the game. I'm thinking this matchup really seems very similar to where the 49ers were a season ago. Headed into week 3, Sunday night football, quarterback that's very tough on them. Last year it was Aaron Rodgers. This year it's going to be Russell Wilson. This is a matchup coming into it where I think there's a lot of folks that are really pressing the button that they think the 49ers are going to blow them out, and that could be the case. I think this game is going to be closer though than most people are anticipating. You look at the numbers, the 49ers and Denver, two teams that run the ball very well, have been able to control the ball throughout both of their games so far this season. Defenses that have done a very good job of stopping the run, stopping opposing offenses in general. This is going to be, I think, a real litmus test for this 49ers team. This is their first. We're going to finally see what this team's really about. It's, week 1 is always kind of a little bit of a crapshoot in the NFL. It's hit or miss depending on where things are. Then you get into week 2 and it's still kind of there. Now you're in the week 3. The preseason vibe is kind of worn off, and now you're going to start to see who these teams really are. And this is the first big test for the 49ers. Last season, they got off to a slow start in their week 3 matchup against Green Bay. We'll see what happens tonight on the road in Denver, a place where the 49ers have only won twice in 6 regular season matchups with the Denver Broncos out in Denver. The 49ers are 2-4 out there. Even when they had their best teams, though, they struggled playing games in Denver. So this is going to be interesting to watch. When you look at these two teams, they've played 15 times. The 49ers hold an 8-7 series lead over Denver. That includes their Super Bowl victory. So in the regular season, these teams are tied at 7-7 in the series. So let's get into it a little bit. Got a few folks over in the comments section want to shout out. We have Ray to One. He has a bunch of questions that we're going to get to there. Kendi Owens asked Jack Hammer, "What's up?" And it's a good day. It's Sunday. 49er football about ready to come up, and looking forward to watching this game play out tonight. Adrian's in the house as well. He says, "What's up, Jack? Are you in Denver?" No, I'm not in Denver tonight. I'm back home. That's why I said I'm here in the tool shed getting ready for the game. The travel isn't something that's paid for me yet, so I'm still working on that. Was able to get out to the game in Chicago for the opener. Just not able to get to this one. And as the season goes along, we'll see where I end up. I know I'll be down in LA for the game against the Rams. Might be up in Seattle for the Seahawks game. Won't be going to the East Coast, though, in a couple of weeks for those. But be able to be at a lot of the games, and those that I'm not, I'll still be covering them. Just won't be able to be on location and get you guys that information as well. So as far as Karan comes in and he says, Broncos have a great defense. Big test before Monday Night Football. I agree. This is the Broncos, the strength of this Broncos team on their defense and how well they've played. There's been a lot of people pointing to the strength of schedule for the Broncos as a reason why the 49ers should blow them out tonight or win big. And my question on that is, the Broncos and the 49ers, didn't they play the same team? I know the 49ers beat Seattle, whereas the Broncos lost, but the 49ers played at home. And the Broncos should have won that game up in Seattle. There was a couple of turnovers deep in the red zone where the Broncos turned the ball over that led to points or took points off the board for them. But they moved the ball quite well against that Seattle defense. So I think it's going to be a really tough game for the 49ers. I think it's going to be tougher than people want to admit. So let's go into some of the questions real quick before we get in there. Ray to One wants to know if Hufanga is going to have an interception today. That's going to be a fun one to watch because Hufanga has been fantastic over these first 2 weeks. He's been everything that most people said he wouldn't be. He's been around the ball, doing a really good job in the run game, which I think people expected, but he's also has an interception, a pass breakup, which led to an interception. Is he going to have an interception tonight? I bet you he's going to be around the football. I know that. Will Marlon Mack be utilized? Mack's going to be he's going to be active. The 49ers don't have enough running backs otherwise. So I think we'll see Marlon Mack get out there. I think I'm hoping that Jordan Mason gets carries before Mac. That's definitely something to keep an eye on today, because I want to see what Jordan Mason can do. I want to see if this guy can run the ball against starting level NFL players. We saw what he could do in the preseason, but I want to see what Jordan Mason can do against NFL starters. And then will Javon Kinlaw make an impact? Players are going to need him to make an impact tonight. Arik Armstead hasn't practiced all week. He was testing his foot out earlier in Denver at the stadium. Not sure yet. I haven't seen the actives and inactives. That should be coming out any time now. If Javon Kinlaw, if Arik Armstead is inactive, then it's really going to be on Javon Kinlaw to step up. I know the 49ers activated a player yesterday, one of their defensive linemen yesterday. So that's I think pointing to Arik Armstead not playing tonight. Will the quarterback throw for over 200 yards, 250 yards? Again, another good question. The Broncos come into this game. They've given up, I think, about 313 yards, 320 yards, somewhere around there in that neighborhood, combined in the first two games. So I think it'd be quite an accomplishment if Jimmy Garoppolo is able to get over 200, given where the Broncos have been so far on defense. So a lot of good questions there. Moonman wants to know, is Jimmy going to push the ball down the field? Again, this is one that I'm looking forward to. Hopefully you got a chance to go over to the 49ers.pressdemocrat.com earlier today. If you haven't, go check it out. Put an article up over there kind of detailing what's been taking place this week between Jimmy Garoppolo saying that he wants to throw the ball a little bit more often and maybe push the ball down the field more, Kyle Shanahan's response, and then also what Hall of Fame quarterback Steve Young had to say on Thursday about the quarterback situation between Jimmy Garoppolo and Kyle Shanahan, and their need to be on the same page, trusting one another, and how that can work out. Because Steve Young said he really believes that Jimmy Garoppolo's best years are going to come in this offense, and this is kind of their last chance. You know, these two guys, Kyle Shanahan thought he was done with Jimmy Garoppolo, and here they are. They were headed towards a divorce. Things changed. They stayed in the same house. Trey Lance got injured, and now Kyle Shanahan's right back with Jimmy Garoppolo, and Garoppolo's wanting to throw the ball. And let's see what Kyle Shanahan has in store. And let's see if Kyle Shanahan can start to trust Jimmy, and if Jimmy can show Kyle that he can trust him. That's really what it comes down to, and that's a lot of what Steve Young said. But go check out that article when you get a chance before the game tonight. Should be a quick read, nice and fun and easy. 49ers.pressdemocrat.com. Get you there. And then Adrian wants to know, does Jake Jackson get to bring down Russell tonight? That's going to be one of the keys to this game, is can the 49ers defense contain Russell Wilson? They haven't been able to do that. They've really struggled with containing Wilson throughout his career. You know, he's really owned the 49ers. Wilson's made 21 starts against the 49ers. He's won 17 of those. That includes the NFC Championship game. And a big part of Wilson's success has been his ability to make plays with his legs, which has already caused problems for the 49ers this season. We saw that out in Chicago when Justin Fields moved around a lot in the second half, helping the Bears get to a 19-10 victory over the 49ers. Three touchdowns on consecutive possessions in that game for Justin Fields, and a lot of it was just because he started using his legs. He wasn't really making plays with his arms. He was running around, and that created openings for their attack. And if Wilson can get loose like that on Sunday, it's going to be a long day for the 49ers. One thing to think about, though, there, if Arik Armstead doesn't play, keep an eye on how the 49ers are able to contain Russell Wilson, if it's any better. One of the things that we've seen in the past with Arik Armstead when he's been on the edge, he has a tendency to get to lose contain and let the quarterback get outside of him. We saw that in Chicago in that game against the Bears. The play when Justin Fields breaks out to his left, throws it back across the field to his right to Dante Pettis for a touchdown. It was Arik Armstead who lost contain. So if Armstead isn't on the field tonight, let's see if they get a little bit better containment from those interior rushers when they run those twists and stunts and put those guys on the edge. And let's see what happens with that. Something to keep an eye on today. The other piece of this is, you know, it's not just the running game when it comes to Russell Wilson. It's the passing game as well. And he's struggled a little bit these first couple of weeks of the season. You know, he's played his first 10 years in Seattle. Now he's in Denver, learning a new group of players, a new playbook and everything else. And he's completed less than 60% of his pass attempts through the first two games. That's, you know, not Russell Wilson-esque. He's usually over 60%, well over 60%. And, you know, his performance last week in the home opener led to boos from Broncos fans. And despite that poor start, Wilson remains dangerous. As Kyle Shanahan said on Wednesday, Russell Wilson still looks like Russell Wilson. He can make big plays at times. He's able to hit balls that lead to points. He had a go route that got him to the 2-yard line, a pass interference that got him down there. They made a big play on third down. He made a throw deep to the tight end from like the 22. So keep an eye on what Russell Wilson does. Just because he's struggled a little bit at the beginning of the season, Russell Wilson's always going to be a dangerous quarterback. He might not have quite the legs that he's had in the past, but he's still going to be dangerous. So keep an eye on what happens with Russell Wilson tonight. And Joe with the super chat, $5. Thank you very much. Joe is also a member of the Toolbox. He says for your travel fund. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. And the other thing to think about as we get into this game tonight is Jimmy Garoppolo. This is going to be his first start. Hold on a second. We got the train going by. That's one of the fun pieces about working here the Toolbox that we get is we get the trains coming by every once in a while. But how is Jimmy Garoppolo going to perform in his first start of 2022? Lance went down with a broken ankle last week. At the end of the first quarter, Garoppolo stepped in. The 49ers were able to score 3 touchdowns over the final 3 quarters, put up 21 points. Garoppolo's performance was impressive when you consider that he didn't practice with the team until agreeing to a restructured contract on the 30th of August. So, no playbook, no working with the team at all. Steps in at the end of August, running the scout team, comes on at the end of the first quarter and leads 3 touchdown drives. There were some ups and there were some downs, but overall still completed over 60% of his pass attempts. Had one of his higher average depth of target days. I think it was 10.3 yards per attempt, right around there, which was his highest in nearly a year, going back to the first Seattle game of last year. And now Garoppolo's tasked with leading a 49ers team that many consider among the best in the NFL. One of the cool parts about this 49ers team is that this was a team that a number of people around the league, people who are observers and experts in this kind of stuff, were saying that the 49ers had a roster that could go to the Super Bowl. The only question was at the quarterback spot. Garoppolo's done this in the past. So does he give the 49ers a better chance of getting there? We're going to find out over the next 15 weeks as the 49ers fight their way to try to get into the playoffs. Look at what he's done in 2 seasons of being healthy. 2019, 2021. The team went to the Super Bowl in 19, went to the NFC Championship game a year ago. On Friday, Kyle Shanahan was asked about how Garoppolo's looked, and Shanahan said, I think Jimmy's one of the better throwers on the planet. So that's been one of the number one attributes. He felt like Jimmy had his best year last year. He had surgery at the end of the year. Once his arm started to heal up, which throwing on the side and stuff, it looked pretty good. Once we got him in with our team, which was right after the first preseason game, throwing him in with the scout team and stuff, he looked like he always has. So, Garoppolo's going to have his work cut out for him here tonight, though. Denver brings in a defense that it's only allowed 331 passing yards. So that's that number I was guessing at earlier. I said I thought it was around 320. So it's 331 is all that Denver's allowed so far in the first 2 weeks of the season. That's combined 331. You look at Draymond Jones, Bradley Chubb, Randy Gregory. Those 3 have combined for 5 sacks with quarterback through the first 2 games. And the Broncos have also been able to hit opposing quarterbacks 10 times. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on Jimmy Garoppolo today. I think you're going to see Mike McGlinchey and Trent Williams really challenged in this game with Chubb and Gregory. And then you're also going to have the interior having to pick up their game as well. So it's going to be a tough game for Jimmy Garoppolo to see how he can handle the pressure tonight. Adrian wants to say, and this is a good one, could be a big game for Charles Omenihu. Agree. This is, again, if no Eric Armstead, that means that it's going to be on the other guys to step up, and Charles Omenihu would be one of those. And just got the inactives list really quick, and you guys, it looks like, might have seen this already, or at least TC 49er did. Eric Armstead is out. Daniel Brunskill out. Really not any surprises. Armstead didn't practice all week, so that one kind of should have been expected. Daniel Brunskill hasn't played at all this year. He's been injured. Ty Davis-Price, we knew was out. Same with Tyler Kroft. Kamoku Toure, he was ruled out earlier today due to personal reasons that he had to attend to. And then rookie offensive lineman Nick Zackel. Zakel, is out as well. So the only somewhat of a surprise would be Eric Armstead, but again, he did not practice throughout the week. So again, that puts a lot, Adrian hits on it right here then. Could be a big game for Charles Omenihu. There you go. No Eric Armstead means Omenihu is going to be one of those guys that's going to have to step up. We'll see how he performs. And then Akeem Hicks, I believe it is, was also called up yesterday to the Akeem Spence was called up to the active roster yesterday as well, and he appears to be active today. So they wouldn't pull him up unless he was going to be active. So there you go. The 49ers, though, will be without Eric Armstead here in week 3. Let's see what else we've got in terms of some of the other things to keep an eye on. Okay. One of the big pieces I mentioned about this earlier is the running game for both teams. Both of these teams have been very good in the running game, and so it's going to be one of those things. Number 3 is going to be, can the 49ers defense stop the running game? And number 4 is, can the 49ers get their running game going? Only 4 teams in the NFL have had a pair of rushers who have each gained over 100 yards this season. 2 of those teams are going to face off tonight. The 49ers defense has been stout against the run during these first 2 games, allowing an NFL low 2.6 yards per attempt. They've been very good on that. Tonight, they're going to face the stiffest test, though, that they faced all year. Denver comes into this game averaging 4.9 yards per rush attempt, and you have Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon leading the Broncos rushing attack. Each has 22 carries on the season. Williams has picked up 118 yards, Gordon 105. This is going to be a tough matchup for the 49ers. And part of the reason that the run game and being able to stop the run game is important, and part of the reason that the 49ers being able to get their run game going is time of possession, and the Broncos' ability to run the ball this season has played a large part in their ability to control the game's tempo. The Broncos have averaged 3 minutes and 39 seconds per possession, which is second best in the NFL, and it's been actually better than what the 49ers have been able to manage this year. So the 49ers run defense really has to step up tonight and put the game in the hands of Russell Wilson, as crazy as that might sound. Stop the run, make Russell Wilson beat you. You also got to stop the run so that you can get the ball and control the game on your own. If both teams are able to run the ball and maintain that time of possession, like the Broncos are around 3:39, like I said, 49ers are just over 3 minutes as well. I think they're second or third or fourth in the league in terms of time of possession. The reason that's as important is it's going to limit the number of possessions that each team could have if this game plays out the way that these 2 teams have played so far this season. For the 49ers and their running game, you have Jeff Wilson Jr. and Deebo Samuel. They're leading it. The 49ers have rushed for 365 yards through the season's first 2 weeks. For the second year in a row, though, they've been dealt injuries in the running back room. Elijah Mitchell out he was lost to a knee injury in Chicago on his 6th carry of the season. Ty Davis Price had 14 carries last week, his first 14 of the season. He's out now for a few weeks due to high ankle sprain. So with Davis out, no Mitchell, the expectation is that Jordan Mason will see his first carry of the regular season. We'll see how much he gets tonight. We'll see how much he gets over Marlon Mack, the undrafted free agent, impressed during the preseason, and many are looking forward to seeing what he can do in a regular season game. I'm among those. San Francisco's also elevated veteran running back Marlon Mack to the active roster, did that earlier this week. Mack's been working his way back from an Achilles injury that he suffered in week 1 of the 2020 season. That injury has limited him to only 32 carries for 127 yards over the last 2 seasons. So, the 49ers running back room is a little thin. Jeff Wilson Jr. is going to lead the way. Deebo Samuel, he's going to be your take the top off of the defense, and from the running game's perspective, he's your explosive back. We'll see where Jordan Mason and Marlon Mack fit in as well. But that's going to be the running backs for the 49ers tonight. And then, last but not least, George Kittle. He's finally active. Finally making his way back. He missed the first 2 weeks of the season with a groin injury. He's going to make his 2022 regular season debut tonight. His return to the lineup could not come at a better time, with the 49ers facing the Broncos defense that has allowed only 156 yards on the ground over the first 2 weeks. Kittle's blocking ability will be a welcome addition. Now think about that one for a second, what we just talked about. The 49ers, through their first 2 games, 365 yards through the first 2 weeks. The Broncos come into tonight allowing only 156 total over those first 2. So strength on strength in a lot of areas in this game. start looking at what Kittle can do. His ability to make plays in the passing game is also going to be a welcomed addition. He should be able to take advantage of Denver linebackers Alex Singleton and Jonas Griffith to help Garoppolo work the middle of the field. I just look at this game. It's going to be. I see this game as a complete dogfight. I don't know. I see some people saying 31-10. It could very well play out that way. I just don't see it. I see this as a game that's going to come down to the end of the game, and it's going to be a tight one. And, we'll see how this all plays out for the 49ers. TC 49er wants to know how many deep shots for Jimmy today. No. I would tee it up and I'd let it rip. I would let him go. Let him play. Let him do the things that he did in 2017 when you had nothing to lose, everything to gain, and you just let him go out and play, and you let him throw the ball around the yard. You let him make big plays. Let him do it. And I know it's early on, but you've got a guy that you've got a lot of playmakers on your offense in George Kittle now and Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Danny Gray as well. You've got guys that can run. You got speed. Ray McLeod had a really nice reception on a deep out from him last week. Let the ball fly. Let's go. Throw the ball 30-plus times tonight. Make some big plays with your quarterback. Get up on top of them early. And if you can get up on top of them early, you can put them down in the first half. The 49ers, one thing that you can say the 49ers have been consistent with is opening strong. Against Chicago, they only put up 10 points in the first half, but they were in position to put up a lot more. You had the fumble by Deebo Samuel on the first possession there in Chicago. You had the missed throw by Trey Lance on the second possession. Still, the 49ers had at one point in that game had a 10-0 lead. Should have been up bigger. Should have been up by about 20 at that point. So if the 49ers can play the first half of this game, moving the ball on offense, and finish it off with points like they did last week, move the ball like they did in week one, but just finish those drives off like they should have, the 49ers can put this thing kind of to bed at halftime. And we're going to find that out tonight. It's going to be a really fun game. Should be a fun matchup. Let's see if there's any other questions. Crane says Kittle needs to get at least 10 targets tonight. I don't know about 10, but he needs to get a few. That's for sure. Garoppolo is going to try to get him to him. I hope that the 49ers come out and they just play this game free and easy and do what they do. Take it at them, run the ball, play action, take some shots down the field to loosen up that defense. Because you're gonna get it. If that pass protection's holding up, go for it. That's what I say. Adrian wants to know, does Patrick Surtain shut down Deebo or BA? Surtain is a guy I want to see the 49ers go after him. I want to see Deebo Samuel on a screen towards Patrick Surtain. I want to see Surtain have the tackle Deebo Samuel one-on-one. I want to see the 49ers put him in position one-on-one with Deebo Samuel. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So as far as my prediction for tonight, let's get to that. My prediction is that 49ers are going to win tonight. I had the 49ers when I did my early season predictions. I had the 49ers winning this game, and I'm not changing that. I have the 49ers winning tonight by the score of 23-20, with Robbie Gould hitting a field goal late in the game to give the 49ers that 23 points and a 3-point advantage over the Broncos, coming out with a win and getting ready for the Rams next Monday night in Levi Stadium at 2-1. So there you have it. Let's see if there was any questions that I might have missed in the comment section. I don't see anything, but definitely this is a game. It's going to be fun to watch. Hope you all enjoy it. I'll be back after the game with the post-game report. Make sure you guys follow along at 49ers.pressdemocrat.com throughout the game tonight. I will be doing a live blog over there with instant news and analysis throughout. So have a great Sunday evening enjoying the game. I will be back later. Thank you all for everybody that joined. If you can do me a favor, hit that like button. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button as well and hit the little bell notification as you go through. And then one last thing, order 49ers.pressdemocrat.com. Check that out. Make it a favorite on your web browser and check it out throughout tonight's game. Crane comes in and says 27-24. I think it goes the other way, so it looks like he's saying 27-24 Broncos. So we'll see how tonight's game comes out. It's going to be a fun one. Take care, everybody. I will be back after the game. Talk to you soon.